Alright guys, welcome back to another fanfiction idea, and this one is another adaptation, much like the Secret Invasion one, but this one wasn't voted on, and it's going to be an adaptation of a story that so pretty unique, because it's an adaptation of the death of Captain Marvel, but instead of Captain Marvel, we're going to be doing the death of Space Ghost. So let's get into it. So this basically takes place in a shared universe, and basically what it is kind of retconning a few things in this universe. We're basically in this continuity. Space Ghost had been a superhero, a cosmic superhero, had been protecting Earth as well as protecting the Starways from the forces of evil, and even fighting against Nazis and communists and protecting the people of the world. And Space Ghost basically became a legend, and thanks to his alien physiology, he aged slower. So he saw generations of superheroes come and go. So that was his whole thing, was that he was among the first generation of superheroes, the Impossibles and Johnny Quest and a few others. So he was among those heroes, but thanks again to his alien physiology, he aged much slower. He also had residency on Earth. He basically had residency on Earth, and that's where he takes the name Thaddeus Bach. I'm kind of mixed in this story. He has two identities, both kind of referencing the DC comics. The Space Ghost DC comics, where in his real name is Kieran in this story, but he as in the Hanna-Barbera comic Future Quest, that was his name in Future Quest. But on Earth, he took on the identity of Thaddeus Bach, who was his name in the Space Ghost comic by Joe Casey, which was supposed to be his secret origins. So like I said, Space Ghost had been around a long time, but in these recent days, basically, Bach had discovered that he had been feeling weaker and weaker. He's gone to the doctors, and they're like, "Bro, you have cancer." They're like, "Dude, you have cancer," and that just hits him, because he's like, "How could this have happened?" And it's your physiology is so close to ours, it's possible it's been infecting you. And the other thing is that they discover that the quantum bands he was the utility bands he had been wearing, while they did slow down the cancer all this time, they mutated it to the point where it can't be reversed. So he's like, "Oh." So this is the end. And Bach basically comes to terms with it pretty quick, because he's like, I'm pretty old. My family's been long dead, because again, going back to the Joe Casey story, his family had been killed. But he more or less goes to, because he's like, maybe I can find a way to reverse this, or maybe slow it down even more. So he goes all the way to Homeworld of the crystal gems, and even the diamonds tell him, "We can't help you, dude. Our technology, while it is advanced, we can't help you. The best we can do is make you feel comfortable." And Bach at the end of it is like, "Okay." So the crystal gem, the diamonds basically send the message out "Hey, Space Ghost is dying. Space Ghost has cancer. We can't save him. If you want to come see him, we will give you transport." They basically send a call to Earth and all throughout space, "Hey, Space Ghost is dying, and if you want to come see him, we'll give you transport to Homeworld so you can talk to him." So he's got a few months. He's got by our the diamonds basically say, by our estimate, we believe that basically they have that he has a good 6-8 months, a good 6-8 months, 6 to 8 months at best. So you've got plenty of time, but the sooner the better. So when that call goes out, heroes from all across Earth and space want to go to Homeworld to see Space Ghost. And like in this continuity, like Space Ghost had been around and teamed up and hung out with a lot of superheroes. Among those is Danny Phantom. And Danny in this continuity, Danny was like, when he was starting out, when he was just starting out, he met Space Ghost, and like Space Ghost took him under his wing and like became like a superhero mentor to him. It was a lot like, the two were a lot like we're kind of like the relationship Barry Allen and Jay Garrick had, where it's the old guy teaching the young hero. Even though Space Ghost wasn't a ghost, he did like take Danny under his wing, and even like made the joke of, "You could be my new sidekick," and Danny's like, "I would prefer not to." So Danny's like really hurt by this, because he's like, this was my friend, like this was a father, this was my mentor, this was my teacher, and like, yeah, it breaks my heart. So so him and Danny like hang out, and we also have like Kim and Ron also show up, and they talk about the few times Space Ghost helped them in missions. Like one time Space Ghost saved them while they were in a space station that was falling to Earth, and Space Ghost was got the call, he flew in, rescued them, and pulled them out. There is also like another story of like Ben 10, who met Space Ghost during a battle with Vilgax. And you also have the Autobots, who in this story, Optimus and Space Ghost are like old friends. So Optimus is like, I always kind of knew that I would, Cybertronian lives are so long, but still, like, it still hurts to see you go, and especially this way, but at least in this way, you are going to be surrounded by friends and family. There's also, like, here's a real gut puncher of one. So, among all the stories of the superheroes, like, they're trading about Space Ghost, one among them is, one among these superheroes is Ladybug, and Ladybug shares, because she's like, I only met Space Ghost once in my time, during my time as a superhero, and this was like I guess you could say my second year being Ladybug, and my whole world had just crashed around me. Like it was like when she was feeling low, like her whole life as Ladybug was kind of entrenching on her life, and she was just feeling all this pressure and like having a mental breakdown, and was scared that she was going to lose Adrian to Lila at one point, where all of this was just so emotionally overwhelming that she went all the way up to the Eiffel Tower to she was going to throw herself off the building. But in that moment, right when she's like about to throw herself off the Eiffel Tower, Space Ghost comes flying in, and he's like, you're stronger than you believe you are. So, and the two, like, he talks her off the ledge. Very reminiscent. For those who will probably guess, yes, that was a direct reference to the very powerful scene in All-Star Superman. So it was very much like that, with Space Ghost comforting Ladybug. So Marinette gets to be there and comfort Space Ghost as he's dying. Then among this, two things happen. One, Space Ghost is visited by one person he never thought he'd see again, Jane, one of his two sidekicks. And Jane's older. She's she's living on a different world now, and she's long since stopped being Space Ghost's sidekick. But she meets him, and there was like a falling out between him, Jan, and Jace. But Jan came to see him, but her brother Jace did not come to see him, and she's like, he does not want to see you because you drove us away from being, having the superhero life, and he always hated you for it. And he's like, I understand, but I wish I could see him again. And Kim, Ben, and Danny all go, hold that thought. So Ben, Kim, and Danny go across with Steven's help, go from planet to planet looking for Jace to drag him back to talk to Bach before he dies. Now the second thing that happens is a little more like holy shit, because Homeworld gets a emergency call, and that is a massive ship is pulling in, and that massive ship belongs to Dominator. Lord Dominator is shown up on the doorstep of Homeworld, and even the Diamonds are like, she's strong and she's dangerous, but she can't be this dumb, right? Like, she got a death wish? Like, all 3 Diamonds are here, the Gem Army is here, oh yeah, and we have like tons and tons of heroes from Earth here as well. So what, did she think she was gonna go out in a blaze of glory? But it turns out that Dominator sends a message saying, hey, I just came to give my piece, that's all, and I brought some people too. So yeah, Dominator, against the other heroes who are like, don't bring her ass down here, they're like, well, we should, Optimus convinces we should try. So Dominator comes down planet side alongside a lot of other villains, Megatron, Kagato, a lot of villains who Space Ghost in this continuity had battled with, and they're all like here to like give their last like also show like some moniker of respect to Space Ghost. Dominator's whole thing is like, when I started out being a villain, I was a nobody. I was barely getting any cred, but then when I was about to commit mass genocide on this planetoid, Space Ghost stopped me, and that's what got me some cred, because I fought Space Ghost and wasn't thrown in jail or killed. I got I owe Space Ghost for getting me serious street cred as a villain, and they're like, fucking, and Steven's like, fucking Christ, Dominator, what the hell? That's, what? Are you serious? And Megatron was like, he was a worthy foe, the great Space Ghost and I did battle many times, but, I will honor you as a worthy foe. And Megatron bestows upon Space Ghost this medal, this Decepticon medal that was forged for him, and he's like, I salute you, I salute you, Space Ghost of the Starways. May your end be swift and your rewards in the afterlife be plentiful. And they're like, how do you like that? Megatron gives the Decepticons give him a fucking medal, and Jace won't show up. His old partner won't show up to talk to him. And Space Ghost is like, I understood what was going to happen, and it's cool if I ever see him again. Meanwhile, our trio of other heroes are combing the galaxy for Jace. They find him, and he's like, go. He's living in a village. He's like, go away. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to Space Ghost. He and I are no longer, we do not speak at all. So he slams the door in their faces, and Danny's like, well, what do we do now? And Ben goes, I'm going to knock again. And he's like, yeah, but he's not going to answer. And Ben goes, oh, no. I'm going to knock a little harder. And he turns into forearms and just smashes the door down. And he's like, you're coming. So they drag him back to speak to Space Ghost, who's by this point like just wasting away. But there's still like a lot of stories that are being like good old times. Like the Power Rangers talk about a time Space Ghost has rescued them from a trapped Zed planet for them, alongside one of Space Ghost's villains, the Metalis. It wasn't Metalis. It was Zorak. Excuse me. Then there's another story where the Sailor Scouts or the Sailor Senshi are basically talking about a story of how Space Ghost and them traveled to like a nightmare dimension to rescue Mamoru from this dream monster. Like all these fun stories from all these different heroes. But then Jace is brought back, and the two have a long discussion about everything, and by the end of it they reconcile. And by this point Space Ghost is slowly going away and is slowly dying, and he says, well, let's talk again sometime. And Jace's like, yeah, let's talk again sometime. So he's like, I could probably use a little bit of rest. So everyone leaves, and he he starts going to sleep, but everyone kind of realizes, oh, he's not waking up, is he? So he sleeps, and his soul leaves his body, and that's when he encounters like all of his old villains. and that they're all like, it's Brax and Metalis, the Creature King, Lady Arachne, Zorak, and all of them, and they're like, we've come to fight you in the afterlife, Space Ghost. And he battles them all and defeats them, and he's like, well, what was that for? And this voice says, that was the last hurrah of Space Ghost. And it turns out that it's the person who did that was Clockwork. And Clockwork is like, I thought I'd give you one last hurrah before you transcend. And he's like, to the Ghost Zone? He's like, no, the Ghost Zone is purgatory, dude. Like, you're not, you have earned the right to go beyond the Ghost Zone. So Clockwork helps him go to the light, which is heaven. He helps him to ascend to heaven. And on the outside, they're listening, and he's like, all the heroes are like, he's gone. And that's the end. Like, they bury him on his homeworld, like where the Phantom base. They bury him in the Phantom at the Phantom base, and they're like, well, who should be the next Space Ghost? And they're like, that's discussion for another time. Like, and Jace is like, it can't be me. Jan and I busted our bodies up too much. That's why he didn't want us around. So someone else is gonna have to be Space Ghost. So there you go. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this story? Like it, hate it, comment below, let me know. Other than that, if you haven't already, hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, and once again, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.